Let's talk about frame fitments. Now, this is a frame that is too small. These frame temples are sticking out. If you look, they are sticking out to the side, resting way too tightly on the temple. This rubbing will cause your hair to fall out eventually and leave imprints on the skin. This frame is also too short. If you notice, the curvature here is not falling on the top of the ear, causing the frame to tilt forward, giving a very nerdy look. You don't want that. Have you ever experienced your frames falling forward? This could mean your frames are too big. If you see here, there's too much space in between the frame temple and my temple, causing it to slide forward, as you can see here. This frame is too long. You can see the curvature is way behind the actual ear. This means it is not going to hook behind the ear, causing it to slide forward when you look down. A proper fitting frame is when the curvature lands directly on the top of the ear, giving a nice hook behind the ear itself. That way it doesn't slide forward. And also that you have just about 1 millimeter space between the frame temple and your temple, so it doesn't have any rubbing that can rub off the hair and leave any marks. Now, we also want your eyes to be as centered as possible with the lens. That way you don't have any quirky looks of it being too big or too small.
Empty your cup, get to the last drop, get to the last drop, drop, drop. Empty your cup, get to the last drop, get to the last drop. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. You get it once, you're gonna get it twice. Now when you in the tongue, you got that smoothie on your mind. I see you smile, your taste but satisfied. You wonder how Crazy Carrot got all that vibe. It's healthy and it's fresh. You and I both know that it's the best. So come on down to Crazy Carrot today. We'll have a fresh movie coming your way. Empty your cup, get to the last drop, get to the last drop, drop, drop. Empty your cup, get to the last drop, get to the last drop. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot.
I love the Kalinago territory, I love the Kalinago people, and I really embrace my culture.
How the hell do we expect to survive as a communal society in a capitalist system?
We need to teach that history that have not been taught.
Have you heard? It's Match Madness with Digicel. Sign up for an internet-only plan today and only pay $95. That's 30% discount on us. That's what you're calling Match Madness. Plus, get a chance to win vouchers, cash, hampers, Express the Deal tickets, and a PS5. That is some serious madness. Sign up today for an internet-only plan and be better together only with Digicel.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Listen, listen, listen. Welcome. Where are my people? Let me see my people who are on the live. Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, welcome, 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 welcome. Every single person on the live. If you're on, I see Kira, I see you there. Bonsoir, Aurel. Mokabuel. What's going on here? What's going on with my stuff, girl? Listen, this thing doesn't want to cooperate tonight. It does not want to cooperate, but that's okay. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep on keeping on. Let me just check to make sure. Let's get this part started. Welcome, guys. I'm so happy to be back here with you. It's been a while since we had a show. It really has been a minute, and I've been doing a lot of stuff. You know, doing a lot of stuff, and let me know if you guys are seeing me, because I feel like something happened, and I'm not seeing my. Okay, I'm seeing some of y'all. Okay, I'm seeing some of y'all. Okay, y'all here. Let me see y'all. Okay, all right. Dollar. Okay, I was worried for a little bit. Oh my God, I was worried. I was so worried for a little bit. I lost my master control settings. I can't find it, so I was just like, okay, where's everybody? But everybody's there. I can see you guys. You can see me. Welcome those of you on Facebook, those of you on LinkedIn, those of you on Twitter, those of you on YouTube. Bonsoir. Hello. I seen y'all. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, thank you for tuning in. Thank you. Tag a friend. I love to see those of you who have started already tagging your friends and tagging everyone to let them know to come on down, come on in. Yes, Carla, I see you. Taena Bruno, I see you. May Cyril, I see you. Ali Scott, I see you. Orilla Valmont, I see you. Who's that? Ronisha Charles, I see you. Joanne Thomas, Chris Phillip, Lola Grove, Kira Grant. What's popping this evening? How are you guys doing? Wishing you guys a happy Hump Day Wednesday. I'm happy to be back on here with you. It's been a while since I've done an actual show. I took a break during the month of February because February is my month, and I wanted to spend some time doing my things and doing birthday stuff and celebrations and all that good stuff. And we're back with our very first show for the season, for the new season. Not really a new season, it's more like a continuation of the season, but you get the point, right? We're back, and we're back with someone who's been making waves, headlines, making history for Dominica. I'm so happy to have the lovely Thea Lafond is going to be joining us this evening. She's ready, and let me tell you, she all Dominicanized down. Like, she is Dominican through and through, and she's ready to talk to you guys. I'm going to talk to her about a little bit about her story, her little life. I want to know where she come out, and how she get, listen, those abs. Y'all saw those abs? Like, y'all saw those abs that you could wash clothes on? Let me tell you, you could wash clothes on those abs. We need to find out how she get those abs, because I need those abs in my life. I want to talk to her a lot about her journey. We want to talk about Glasgow. We want to talk about her gold medal. We want to talk about, we're going to chat. We're going to be chatting down tonight. She said to me, Jael, you're my last interview for the day, so we can stay as long as we want. Wow. Isn't that some privileges? Some privileges. I'm not on a clock. I'm not on a clock. Yes? Thank you, guys. Oh my God. I'm sorry to hear it's raining. Lola is in NYC, is locked in, and she said it's pouring in NYC. I want to big up my sponsors. This show was put together in a very short time. And I must say, for you to get sponsors in such a short space of time, you have to be blessed and highly favored. It's either that, or your analytics real good, or something just popping. I just want to say thank you very much to my sponsors. Digicel, of course, better together. If you right now you can get an internet data plan for only $95. 30% of the cost. Yes, all you must see my video going around. I look like a hot mess. I was working out, trying to get those abs that I'm showing off all over the world. I was trying to get those abs, right? So you can go and sign up today for an internet data plan. That's a data plan only for $95. Also want to big up Asta fans. They're having their Easter egg hunt. They're having discounts in store, and they also have swimwear that's on sale. Specials on swimwear. So if you have washboard abs, or if you okay being pleasantly plump and you have a little spare tires and you're alright at it, you can look all hot up in your swimsuit. Yes, because Easter is right around the corner and everybody's going to be bitching. So you want to make sure that you're looking your best. I also want to big up my friends at Crazy Carrot. Listen, them smoothies, if you've never had a smoothie from Crazy Carrot, you miss out on your whole life. Just agree your whole life. You've been missed out on your whole life. One thing I can guarantee, when you get a smoothie from Crazy Carrot, there's no powder in it. It's fruit galore. So if you're buying a Capuchin QT, you get it fruits galore. If you're buying a Maho Melanin, you get it fruits galore. If you're getting a Tibo Thunder, fruits galore, right? And that is at Crazy Carrot. And I actually did a Crazy Carrot challenge. I don't know if you guys remember. I did that about 2 years ago, and I actually lost weight. So I only did Crazy Carrot smoothie for 10 days. Listen, I was dying. But girlfriend, summer get flat. Put it back on, you know. Go like her food. Hello. I love my food. What can I say? But I did lose the weight. So if you're looking to get, nice and popped down and in shape and you want a healthier way to do so, check out Crazy Carrots. Also want to say big up to the folks out there at the Flying Dress Dominica. Want to say good evening to them. Y'all saw my pictures in flying dress. Girlfriend was looking hot up here. Even if I didn't have abs, I was looking good. I was looking good, right? Yes. So big up to the folks out there at Flying Dress. We're gonna get the show on the road. You ready? Good evening to y'all. Thank you very much for tuning in. Rukia, I see you. Marvin, I see you. When you were her age, you had great abs as well. I don't know about that. No, I don't ever remember myself having great abs. Hi, Angel. But Angel finally, Bell Angel finally not missing the live. I tired here. I tired missed the live. You made it. You made it in time. Folks are on the live. Make sure you tag a friend, share the live. This is a historic moment. I was talking to Thea earlier on, and I was saying to her, "You're gonna go down in the history books, like the Dominican history books. Like your name will always be there as the first, right? So this is a historic moment. So make sure you tag all your Dominican friends and show off to all your St. Lucian friends and your Grenadian friends and your Vinci friends and your Antiguan friends and your Bajan friends. Tag a friend and let them know to come on down. We're about to get talking. We're about to have some good fun, some good conversation with the lovely Thea Lafond. Let me tell you, listen, we know her for always being in a bun. My girl get a blowout there just for the show. My girl got a blowout and she's looking a pink pilling. About a cup I took the word. I've copywritten it. She is looking great and I want to welcome her to the show. Before that, let me just see who else is on the live. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you guys for tagging. Andrew, I see you. Andrew 758 in the house. Joyful moment. We did it together. First gold medal. Andrew's in the house from the 758 area code. Big up yourself. Tag a friend. Only don't come on there and don't tag people. Tag your friend. Tag your nenen. Tag your power. Tag your sister. Your boyfriend. Your side chick. Your husband. Make sure they're on this live. Right about now, we're going to be talking to Thea Lafond. I want to welcome her. I want to welcome her. We must have been following her. Most of us have been following her. We woke up to really amazing news on the weekend, and learned that Dominica had won its very first gold medal at at the World Athletics competition in Glasgow. And I mean, it was an indoor competition, but it was such a historic moment. I keep watching to see like if she beat the world record because it feel like it was just real cool. But we're gonna talk a little bit about that. I want to welcome her on. I want all of us to make her feel loved, make her feel welcome. Make sure you drop those medals, those gold medals in the chat right now because the gold medalist Thea Lafond is about to step off right here on Jael Joseph. I want to say good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I suddenly get a coughing fit. Let me just oh my God, it's so good to have you on the show with me. I want to first of all congratulate you.
Thank you. I mean, wow. Honestly, just wow. The emotions are still there. I'm still so happy, so excited, so proud, but excited for us. Like, everyone's talking about Dominica, and it's amazing. My mom brought home the copy of the newspaper, Washington Post, and I didn't know I was in it. And there I am, a huge picture of me in the sports section. And I'm like, wow, like the entire area is reading about Dominica today. And, I love it.
Oh my God. I want to talk about how it feels. We want to talk about everything, but we kind of before we get into all of this, because for some people it might be their very first time hearing about you. Some people on the live, it may be I highly doubt that because I feel like my followers are up to the time. We stay connected. But every now and again, especially when you tagging up a Bajan Apache people might come on and be like, who did they tag me for? Why am I here? Right? Who is this person that is on the live tonight? And I want to first of all start off, Thea, by I want to kind of get a sense of where you came, like where are you from in Dominica? Because you rep the Dominica flag, but we hear an accent, and we might say, they might say, but how she sounding like she not, because I code switch.
Yeah.
I can very much maintain a foreign accent if I have to. But tell me a little bit about your Dominican roots. Where did you come from in Dominica? Where is your family from? What is your lineage hailing from?
Alrighty. Well, my mom her maiden last name is Teofil, Ernestine Teofil. And she grew up in Maho. And my dad, Dorian Lafond, was born in Granby, but has a lot of strong roots in Castle Bruce. I was born in Canefield. So that's where I lived when I was on island. And my parents moved to the States when I was just 5. So the reason why I do not have a very strong accent and why I speak the way I speak is because primarily majority of my years I was raised in America, and I would come to Dominica in the summers.
This is so wonderful to hear that you've definitely stayed connected. You've come back home in the summertime and all of this. What were your best memories or your earliest memories of Dominica?
I want to say that some of my best memories I've just been going by and bathing in the river and just having, a nice broth being made over a coal pot, in a calabash, just sitting there and just having all my family together and just enjoying good food and just being right there by the water and just being with my family. Truly, truly, truly. There's always that green lush background in every moment, which I truly love. Yeah.
Yes, Dominica is definitely beautiful. I mean, we're known as the nature island of the world, and you've definitely helped put us on the map. They're not going to mix us up with no other countries with Dominica in it, right? You've definitely made it crystal clear that we're the land of so many rivers, but we're called Dominica, and you've definitely done well for yourself. But you started like when I was doing, we were doing a little bit of research on you because I wanted to be prepared. I really wanted to be prepared for this, and I learned that you were once a ballerina.
I was, yeah. Ballet, tap, and jazz, but my major emphasis was ballet. I would spend hours in the studio every week, literally myself and my entire troupe, in front of a mirror and our instructor, our dance instructor, and I was just being critiqued. And the nature of dance is that, okay, take it from the top again, again, again. And so I think at a very young age, I discipline was instilled. I had no other option. I loved it. I really loved it, but I was being told whether what I was doing was good or bad. I was being told how to fix what I'm doing. And when I thought I really had it down packed, my instructor would be like, okay, then do it again. And that was just the mentality. But yes, that's what I did before I even knew what athletics was. I was dancing.
How did that make you feel though, being, because a lot of times, people can say being critiqued so much can kind of break you. It can,
Hmm.
yes, it can make you strong, it can make you disciplined, like you mentioned, but it can also break you.
Yeah.
And you seem to have embraced that, and you've considered it discipline. How did you feel like standing every single time with your
Hmm.
troop and being told, you know what, the fact that I'm doing it again is because it's not good enough?
Hmm.
How did that make
I
you?
I think that maybe at the beginning it was kind of like frustrating. It's like, oh, but you said that one was good. Why are we still doing it over again? Or, I thought this one was better. But the truth is, eventually you start really waiting for those moments where those positive well, excuse me, comments come through, and then you start like finding pride in those moments. It was like, oh, that was beautiful. Let's do it again just to make sure we have it down packed. And then when comments and criticism like shift to positive, it's so satisfying, right? So maybe you started off and you did it over and over again because you weren't that good. And then maybe after the 20th time you did it, your dance instructor's like, oh, wow, beautiful, ladies. One more time to make sure we have it. And you're like, oh, okay, let's do it one more time. Like we know we have it. And I think that's what I ended up living for. It wasn't just, getting annoyed with doing it over and over again. It was like, no, my goal was to hear the good, and I was going to do it until I was good, and I wanted to be one of the best dancers out there. And so to me it was more of just like refining my craft, and if this is what I had to do to become one of the best, then okay,
Wow.
take the top.
How do you feel like this experience as a dancer
Mm.
helped your career as an athlete now?
I think it taught me patience. I think it taught me body awareness, but I also think it taught me to be able to take criticism and not take it personally. Does that make sense?
That
Like,
makes
I
sense.
can be told that what I'm doing isn't up to a certain standard, but it doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. It just means I haven't achieved, a level of competency or a level of success that I want yet. And
Mhm.
the point of it is that it's not that you'll never get there, it's just you haven't gotten there yet. And I think that dance really kind of instilled that mentality in me. I definitely did not have a quitting mentality. And I think, when you grow up spending hours in a studio in front of a mirror with someone criticizing you, you kind of learn to just one, take it, but learn that it's for the betterment of you. They're not just like criticizing you just to make you feel bad. There's an end game here. And the end game is, success. It's a beautiful performance. It's to win the dance competition. It's for you to feel good, achieve something. And I think that that same mentality has um, definitely rolled over into my athletic career and has been magnified in that career too.
I'm glad that you said that, because your dance career may have stopped, but you
Hmm.
eventually became an athlete. How did that come about? How did you decide? I mean, from a dancer, because normally when you look at it, when you think of a dancer, you think of soft and movements, and
Hmm.
you think of all of this, and then when you think of athlete, you think of like, okay, like strong, and you think so much. It's more hardcore. How did
Yeah.
you transition from dance into being an athlete?
Everyone asks me that, how to get into it, how did that transition happen? And the story is actually a little ridiculous. So I started athletics when I was in high school, so age 13. Um, And my mom had a rule. Her rule was that when I was done with school, I could not come directly home. She was like, I will not have a teenager in my house when I'm not home yet doing who knows what. Like, that's not happening. So find something to occupy your time at school. And our school had, I want to, like, honestly, a plethora of after school activities, sports, and groups in general. And they were all free to join. And so to my mother, it's like, oh, free resources? Like, go find something to do. You're not coming home. And so I had played volleyball during the fall, and then winter came around, and I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. And one of my friends, Nicole, actually, it was two of my friends, and they're both named Nicole, actually. Uh, they said, well, we're running track. Why don't you do it? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know about running all the time. I'm thinking like marathon runners, and I'm like, that's not me. I don't know. And so, but they talked me into it. They're like, just come out and try it. I mean, they're like, oh, there's all these different events. There's hurdlers, there's jumpers, there's, mid distance, just try it. And so I came out and I gave it a try. And it was only because my friends like begged me to do it. And my mom kind of set the parameters in that I had to choose something. And so I just went with my friends. And I always say it's a good case of peer pressure, like probably the best version of peer pressure. And I actually spoke to one of the Nicoles today, and I told her thank you for, she was the final push for me to join the track team. And I was like, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you. She gave me a pair of her running shoes for my first practice, my first pair of running shoes for hers too. And I was the last one to join the team, and I'm the last one competing still. So that's how
Wow.
it happened. Yeah. And so my mom was like, you know what? Dance is getting kind of expensive. Your school has all these, free activities. Go find a free activity and don't be at my house. Boom.
Well, it was a free activity that is paying off today. But for some people, especially us in Dominica, we might be saying, okay, but not many of us can go on to high school and say we're gonna have a career in
Mhm.
running,
Mhm.
or in triple jump, or like that is not that is not the life. Like
Yeah.
we really realistically, this is an afterthought, or
Mhm.
it's extracurricular activities. It is activities probably sometimes that you even get licks for because you might reach home late, and all of these different things. It is activities
Yeah.
that might not even be appreciated in the sense from the home circle, and being told, you know what, you need to study your book because track and
Mhm.
field not going to put food on your table.
Mhm.
You had the opportunity to do this, and you didn't say I'm going to let go of it at some point. You continued with it.
Mhm.
What was some of the things that allowed you, or what was some of the forces, or the people around you that kind of encourage you to continue? Because we can talk a little bit about you being a teacher as well,
Mhm.
we will, but you've maintained this lifestyle that you
Mhm.
picked up in high school. What about running? What
Mhm.
about it that made you stay and stick with it?
I want to say that what really helped me stick with it was that I had a really kind coach that saw me after that first year of joining the team and said, you know what, you are something special. He was like, there is so much potential here, and I think you can do something truly amazing, and I was just completely clueless to the sport. I'm just following instructions. And I think after my first year, I was like top 5 in the state of Maryland, just
Wow.
clueless. And he was like, if this is where you are right now, I need you to let's focus on this. And you're absolutely right. There are a lot of young athletes that are interested in a sport, but maybe for factors at home are saying, you stop wasting your time there or focus on your studies. And I would like I would like everyone listening to know that both my parents are PhDs. My mother is a professor. Um, Education is truly education and faith are the two major foundations of my family. There was at no point was I allowed to have a poor GPA. If my grades dropped, I would be done. And that
Mhm.
was just the rule in my household because at the end of the day, the title is student athlete and the word student is at the forefront. And I could not forget that. I was not allowed to forget that. And if at any point things started to slip, my sport would be taken away from me. Now, on one end, I was being told that I could easily get a full ride to a university if I wanted to based on my athletic scholarship. My parents, not familiar with the NCAA collegiate process for recruitment, was like, okay, people are saying that she's good. Yes, she's winning things, but like they knew more about academic scholarships. So they wanted me to make sure that my grades were good. And I wanted both, right? And I really knew that I wanted something special in track. And I had a feeling that I was going to get some offers for track and field. But I knew that for my parents to be on board fully, my grades could not suffer. And so I had a very high GPA and I was also excelling on the track. Now, I think that is the best way to do it, personally. There are a lot of people that may think that, athletics, is more of a hobby, especially when you're growing up. They think you'll eventually grow out of it. But the truth of the matter is that there are plenty opportunities for young athletes to further their education for free, to further their horizons, to just experience more in life based off of their athletic endeavors. And it's definitely true. I mean, I was speaking to Julian Alfred on Sunday. We were waiting in the same room to receive our medal ceremony. And we were talking about the collegiate process and how she's grateful for everything she went through and being able to come to the States and run, and how that opened so many doors for her. It gave her consistent coaching. It gave her top tier facilities. It gave her access to recovery, PT, doctors, physios, and at a very high level, all within a few kilometers of each other, right? So you're on a campus that has that, and that's not readily available everywhere.
Especially in the Caribbean. So it's not even Dominica, it's the Caribbean.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the biggest ones that we know about are probably in Jamaica, and outside of that, the opportunity to have that kind of like hub where you can just go and focus on your sport and still get an education, that is something special. That is really something special. But it really was, my coach being like, my high school coach being like, wow, you are very talented and you can go very far. And then he sat down with my parents and he told them, he was like, hey, I think Thea has a very special gift. And my mom straight up told him, like, that's great. But if her GPA drops, she's done. And that's it. And my parents, the mentality has always been, your body is going to eventually break down. That is life. You age, you can't physically depend on your body for the rest of your life, but your mind will outlast your body. So you got to make sure. There was never a question that I would get my degree. There was never a question I would go to college. There was never a question. And my mom, is still waiting for the next PhD in the family. She's like, when you're done with this, and so I think I was blessed to, by force or by fire, be like successful in both cases. And I do think that it definitely is possible. And I think if anything, one fuels the other. Discipline on the track definitely translates to discipline in other areas of life, and vice versa. And so that's how we got into it.
Wow. I love the story. And I love that you've shown us how you can be great at two things. Like you don't have to choose. It's just you have to know what you want. And you clearly knew you wanted them both because you didn't want to fail your family, but at the same time, you didn't want to fail yourself because you knew what you loved. And that is so important in everybody's life. And I like that you said it because you're speaking from a perspective of having Caribbean parents who, yes, they love that you can play. They love all the medals, but you see, she's still asking for the PhD.
Yeah.
She still wants that PhD because, like you rightfully said, the mind will always outlast the body. I want to find out, what did you decide, though, when you decided that you were going to college? Because I'm sure you applied for schools.
Yes,
I'm sure you probably got offers. I'm sure it was a battle of the mind versus the body. What did you decide to go to school or to college to do? And how did you make the decision in picking scholarships? What scholarship you ended up with? If you could share some of that with us.
Sure. So I was really interested in just honestly international studies. I was always interested in cultures, but also in business. And so initially, I thought I was going to go to Penn State. It has a really, really strong athletics program, a top tier business school. Um, and I thought it was just the best of both worlds. I was like, great, I can run track and get a very strong degree and then leave with a degree that's really worthwhile, right? But when I got there and I took my visit, I was like, oh, it's a little cold. It was like, I want to say like over a foot of snow on the ground when I visited. But I did really like it. I was like, okay, I could learn to like this. However, when it came to talking about the financial aspect, I was only offered 30% of a scholarship. Now, being an immigrant and watching your parents work their butts off to provide a life for you that can lead you to success is something you will never forget. And I knew that whatever I decided school wise, that my parents were not going to pay for school for me. And I didn't want to take out student loans. And I also had worked my butt off at that point to be top 3 in the country in track and field. And so for a school to offer me 30% was not acceptable at all. And so I turned down that offer and I went looking to another school. And I was a bit heartbroken because I really, really did like the school. My father took the tour with me, and we both enjoyed it. But I told him, I was like, absolutely not. I am not burdening our family with the cost of an education when my skill can get me a free one elsewhere. And so we went looking elsewhere. I looked at Texas A&M. My dad actually went there. He didn't want me to go there. So I was like, okay. I looked at Tennessee, a really strong program, track program. Degree was not as heavy as I wanted it to be. But I was still stuck. Nothing really seemed right. But I wanted to get away from Maryland where I was living. But however, my track coach was like, I think you should go visit University of Maryland. They have a pretty strong program right now. Their degrees are really great. The connections to everything having to do with Washington, D.C. are amazing. And I was like, okay, well, only a day visit, not an official visit. I'm not going to spend the night over there or whatever. I'm just pop in for a day and do a quick
I'm
tour.
gonna get too comfortable.
Not, yeah, exactly. I'm just doing this for you. And I did it, and I really, really liked it. Their high jump coach, Frank Costello, and I clicked immediately. I knew that my degree was going to be a strong one coming from that university, that the contacts that I'd be creating there would be strong enough to follow me for the rest of my life, and they have. I graduated in 2015, and to this day, that some of the people I've met are still helping open doors for me. And that's what I want. I wanted to magnify that experience both on the track and in life and in academics. So I ended up going to University of Maryland, College Park, and I indeed got a 100% full ride scholarship. Yeah, so I left school with a degree in international relations, a minor in public health, 0 student loans, and actually in the black with saving money and stuff through my scholarship stipends and such. So it ended up being a really, really smart choice for me. It worked out very well. And I ended up with a few titles while I was there too. So great academic career and a great athletic one too.
Wow, this is wonderful that
Yeah.
you had to stay close to home so you can get what you wanted, which was
They gave me space. They didn't like pop up or anything.
that's good to know. While you were actually in college, and I'm glad you mentioned your coach, Frank
Mhm.
Costello, he actually told you that you could go further in triple jump.
Yeah.
And you said you were not sure about that. Can you explain why you weren't sure about you being able to go further?
Sure. So in college, I was a really, really good multi. I did the pentathlon. The very first one I did was at our conference championships, and I won. The very first pentathlon I did in my life, I won. Um, and that being said, there was naturally a push for me to continue doing them. And pentathlon, no problem. The heptathlon outside with the jab and the two, I struggled with that. But I felt like, hey, my 5 core events are really strong. I can build on it. I can learn to like it. And Frank was telling me, I think that there's more room for growth in triple. me being stubborn, I guess, was like, no, let me give multi-life a try. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Day in and day out, I would go to practice and just dread it, dread it, dread it, dread it. And I realized that if I wanted to be successful in something, I had to at least want it at some capacity. And I did not want it. Um, and so, I tucked my tail between my legs, and I went back and I was like, you know what, Frank, you're right. Okay, I'm switching lanes. I'm giving triple jump a try. It took me 2 months to come around. I apologize. You were right. I was wrong. And I went in search for a triple jump coach, and I never looked back since. Those 2 months were enough. All the multis can have it. Enjoy it. Congratulations. Amazing. Not for me. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. I'm going to go to the chat. Let me see, because I have
Okay.
lots more questions just to see. I don't want to miss questions if people have questions. A lot of people are congratulating you, and
Oh, thank
I want to
you.
encourage you. Even after the show, you can jump on the lives, and you can actually see and comment back. I tend to encourage folks to go on and interact. You got a lot of fans who are showing a lot of love to you. Dropping the
Thank you.
Dominica flags, the medals, the congratulatory messages. They're doing that there for you, and I will be looking out for the questions if anybody has any questions, and hopefully I can catch it. I'm actually employing my sister to catch them for me, because I see
Nice.
she's on live right now, because the messages are coming quite fast and furious.
Okay.
And I want to be able to catch some of them. Just a lot of messages from folks saying, well done to you. I wanted to get a sense of, what is the difference between training for a day, a game and a day, or even a week without training? Like, what is the difference between those for you?
You're asking the difference between like a regular training day versus training for a major championships?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good question. So my training day is pretty stacked. So I wake up and the first thing I do is I go lift. I haven't even eaten breakfast yet. I take vitamins, I go lift. Um, and I move a lot of weight. You talked about the abs. You talked about the
You know
abs.
what? I was getting to it. Girl, I was trying to ease myself into it, because I don't want people to be like Jill asking for herself. But I was getting to it.
You talk okay, so that's the thing. Everyone's always like, "Oh, give me the ab routine, give me the ab routine." I was like, so much of it is literally lifting weights, and I'm very, very strong. Squats engages your core, RDLs engages your core, and there's so many things that you're doing that by default your core has to be like contracting to keep you strong and stable. But I do lift a lot of weights. I can clean over 205 pounds. I can squat something kind of ridiculous. Yeah. And I have to be strong. And so a regular day, I'm waking up, I'm lifting, and then I get
How long do you lift for?
I lift for about an hour and 15 in the morning. I do that 4 days a week. Um, and there's a 6 hour window, and to make sure I'm getting ample rest, and then I'm on the track. And then I either have a speed day or a jump day. So I'm in the gym 4 days a week typically, and I'm on the track 4 days a week also. And then the other two are kind of hybrid cross training days where I'm biking or doing circuits. I only have one fully off day, and that's Sunday, typically. Now, training for a championship, it's a little different, because leading up to the championship meet, there's very little more you can add on. Like, I'm not getting, substantially stronger in that week leading up. So we actually taper quite a bit. My lifts are cut and are changed completely, and it's something very light. Everything is like speed, explosive, not really heavy. So, I normally do cleans at 205 pounds. I'm doing them at only about 145 to 155, just moving, trying to be fast, explosive. Everything is intentional. I'm maybe not even working out 4 days a week. Maybe it's just three, and the rest is just like stretching and a rest and letting my body be prepared. So it's not under stress when I have to perform. And I think that's like one of the biggest things. I actually get more time to rest, more time to recover, so I'm fresh when I compete. So those are the major differences. So I go from having 6 days a week working out to maybe just 3 or 4, and the rest is just like mentally preparing to execute.
Speaking of mentally preparing,
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine that there's a lot of high tensions, a lot of pressure that comes with preparing for a game or preparing to actually be on in competition mode.
Mm-hmm.
How do you maintain focus and stay mentally strong, especially during these high pressure competitions?
I think that there's like it's two kind of answers to this question. One is actually getting practice. Um, and it could be visualizing or actually going from championship to championship and trying new things mentally to get yourself prepared. Visualizing actually had, especially last year, a really good sports psychologist who literally we would go through step by step the process of getting ready and like in preparation of competing at a major championships and just kind of being calm and being confident in certain areas. Um, and that really, really helped a lot. The other part, like I said, is just going through it with experience. Is that, especially this year, things have been so much more calm for me mentally. And I think I realized that, I've been there, I've done that. I felt the disappointment of it. So let's just come into it just happy and positive. Like, we've already felt the pain, why be anxious about feeling it again? We've already gone through it. We know we can survive it. Let's just go in with just this open, positive heart and let's just show them what we've been working on. That's it.
Wow.
Um, and so that was definitely the mentality, especially this year. It's been the calmest I've entered all my competitions in my life. And it's been probably, like, well, not probably, it's been the best season of my life thus far. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
Still on you as as a human being, how do you maintain a balance? Because I listen to you talking about training for it every day, and I have one off day on a Sunday, and I'm guessing that Sundays to go to church. Um, but how do you maintain balance between athletic career and personal life? Or is there even that? Is there a balance?
Yeah, it's funny because, like, yeah, my husband's my coach. So so I think by default, the worlds kind of bleed into each other. But I am really grateful for, my village. I do have like a group of people that I can go to or even call on a regular basis. And they're just not like in the track and field athletic world, which is actually really refreshing. So I can take a step back and just be Thea, just the friend, or maybe the sister or just Auntie Thea for my nieces, and not be Thea the athlete, not be Thea, the person who's trying to put her country on her back, not Thea, trying to, you know, exceed in this sport. Like Thea the athlete can shut down, even if it's just for like an hour or two a day. Like being able to do that is huge. And also in our own home, Aaron and I think we do a really good job of like, I wouldn't say necessarily flipping a switch on and off, but there are days where like we don't talk about practice that much. We have a routine that, when we do talk about it, we talk about it mainly at practice or in the car, or I'll have a question or two about, you'll ask me a question or two once we get home about like, hey, how do you think practice was for you today? We have that conversation and it's kind of like done. And so I think we've gotten really good at just kind of transitioning into a husband wife or couple mode versus like coach and athlete. And I don't I really sometimes I really like impressed even with us and how it works so smoothly. Um, but it does, and I always say that if it didn't work, I had 6 years of knowing him before we got engaged, to make my decision. But we stayed together because it did work, and I'm really grateful for that. And so now I have the privilege to travel the world with my best friend and coach.
That's fantastic. How did you guys meet? You said 6 years.
We we met initially because he was coaching high school track and field on the side, and I was actually coaching also as an assistant coach to one of my older coaches from high school, and we would just end up at meets together, and our teams would sit kind of close to each other, but we would see each other. We never really spoke that much. Um, but when I actually was looking for a new coach, I contacted his best friend who was also coaching with him, And I was like, hi, I just had a terrible Olympics in 2016. I was like, I need a new coach. I need something different. You qualified for the Olympics. You looked great. Like, please help me out. And his best friend, his name is Muhammad Halim. He jumped for U.S. Virgin Islands. Um, he didn't respond to me. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. Like, no, I need change now. So I went on his Instagram and I commented under every single photo on his Instagram. And I was like, you need to respond to me. and and he did the very next day. He responded.
Wow.
And he actually apologized. He was like, you know what? We did say we'd talk, and I'm terrible with my phone. And to this day, Muhammad ended up being Aaron's best man. To this day, he's still terrible with his phone. But we met up. We agreed to meet up at a Panera restaurant or something. And he shows up and he has Aaron in tow with him. And I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? And he was like, this is the guy that I think is the person for you training wise. He has a great understanding of the sport. He has the time and flexibility to do so. I think he's the guy you need to talk to. And we started talking, and Aaron was like, okay, when do you want to start? And I said, tomorrow. And he was like, what? I was like, I have access to a gym at the school that I'm teaching at, because at that point I was teaching. And I was like, I can start tomorrow. Let's do it. And he said, okay. And we started the next day. And a few months in, I was like, ooh, I kind of like this guy. I like this guy. I was like, he's funny, he's smart. Like, it's like, man. And so I shoot my shot. I did. I knew he wasn't going to. He was not gonna, possibly even entertain, crossing like that coach athlete barrier. He always kept it very professional. And I was like, if something's gonna happen, I have to be the one to do it. And so I did. I was like, I like you. Like, it's like, and he reciprocated. I was like, oh, okay. So you're just waiting for me to say it. All right.
We all excited. All the ladies in the chat, all excited and going goo goo gaga right about now. I love it. Love. Good love story. There are a few things you spoke about that I want to circle back to.
Okay.
You spoke about your failures, specifically when you felt like you failed at the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna find out a little bit about those specific setbacks or failures that ultimately contributed to your growth as an athlete. How did that? I mean, we just heard how that really motivates you. You should get a coach, get a better coach and stuff. But how did that help shape you? Because a lot of times, like now we're seeing all the glory days. We're in the glory moments, right? We're in there with you. But a lot of trials and tribulations and setbacks and failures came before those. And how did you process failure and not making it all of the times that you didn't make it?
I think that one of my greatest motivations ended up being, well, the first one for sure, especially in Rio, was finishing my 3 jumps and knowing that like I had just definitely hurt my quad. I wasn't in great shape. It's easy to just look around. You talk about the abs. I didn't have abs in Rio. I definitely didn't have abs in Rio. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like these girls are like just so cut up, and they're just like, you can just tell like they were on a different level than I was. And I remember looking at them and being like, this is impressive, but I'm not really impressed because I know I can be there. I just need the tools to get me there. I'm not there right now, but one day I can be there. And it was that knowledge of like, God, it sucks because I'm not where I want to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean I don't have it in me to get there. And so like I remember watching these girls jump and like just going down the runway. I'm sitting there watching them jump. And I'm like, that could be me. That could be me. That should be me. Like I want that to be me. And I refuse for it to no longer be me. And then when I gave myself like 2 or 3 days to cry. And when I got home, I started making changes like immediately. And then we talk about, just the failures. Like I said, last Worlds, I finished 4th or 5th, outdoor and indoor. And how many times have I sat there and watched other people celebrate with their flags in hand? And it hurt. You know, I cried after indoor worlds in, was it Belgrade in Serbia? Yes, I cried after outdoor worlds in Budapest. And then after I cried in Budapest, I was like, I'm so done crying. I'm done with that. Like, no, there will be no more tears. That we're not doing that. And if they come, there will be tears of joy and joy only. And I think that when you have practice of falling down and having to pick yourself up and letting there be no other option but to pick yourself up and dust yourself off, by default you become stronger, your skin becomes thicker, your focus becomes sharper, you know, and you get better at going back to the drawing board and being like, okay, rip that plan off the wall, that one didn't work, toss it over your shoulder, what are we doing different this time?
Wow.
And that's what it's what it had to be, because failure I wasn't going to quit, right? So if I'm going to stay in the game, I need to figure out how to keep getting better. And Aaron, I got to give so much credit to Aaron. That man, every time, season in and season out, was just ready to figure out something. He was like, all right, let's change this with the training. We know you're fit at this point. Let's make sure that you're bouncy. Let's make sure you're faster. Make sure that this is fine tuned. And he went back to the drawing board and tried something new every time. He went knocking on doors, to other coaches, like, hey, what have you been doing? Your girls look good. There was zero ego involved. There was zero resistance involved. It was like, hey, I want my athlete to be so good, and she wants to be so good. I'll take all the resources I can get. That's
so fantastic. Wow. Something else you said, and you've said it. You've spoken about it on 2 occasions. Carrying your country in your back.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I remember you saying that, and then talking about seeing girls with their country flags. Why did you decide? Because you went to school in America.
Yeah.
You have utilized all of America's resources.
Mm-hmm.
Yet you've chosen to carry the Dominican flag big and proud,
Mm-hmm.
and loud everywhere you go. And you say carry your country, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel, like when I look at those photos, I feel like you were carrying Dominica on your back, when I look at why did you decide that was it for you? That was Dominica was the flag that you were going to carry.
Because it was always home. It was always home. Nowhere else would be home. And I'll never forget, my first international competition was Carifta Games, Montego Bay. I was 16 years old, and I think I won a silver in triple jump, and I won bronze or something in high jump. And I remember watching Dominica's flag go up on the poles while I stand on the podium. And I was like, oh yeah, I want more of that. I want to see more of those colors. I want to see us represented. I want that. And, you're absolutely right. There could have been multiple times I could have left. I could have deferred. I could have switched allegiance and been Team USA. I am a dual citizen. And I would have definitely made teams. But the truth of the matter is that, I might have been raised in America, but my culture in my home was always that of a Dominican, and all the work I see my parents do, all their research, all their studies is almost all because of their youth and growing up on the island. Their success is because of their background coming from Dominica. My dad is in agricultural sciences, and it's because he was, in the country. Yes, he's in the country, his little farm and chickens. And now he's one of the top international standards coordinators in America, and they're even having trouble replacing him because he's so good. There's just so much greatness that came from our country, and I grew up seeing it. I grew up seeing it day in and day out, and I'm like, to be honest, the idea of representing anyone was almost impossible to me. I was like, this is where I am, and this is where I want to be, and this is where I'll stay. That was it. That was it.
Wow. Period. Per. That's it. Right? Oh my God. This is amazing. I'm enjoying every single of this conversation with you. And I want to get into your last competition, the last one, the one while you're here today as a gold medalist. I want you to take me through that morning waking up.
Mm.
Like I looked at you did an interview,
Mhm.
and you spoke about Julian Alfred and winning.
Mhm.
And honestly, Thea, like that was like the most momentous, most memorable speech I've
Mhm.
ever heard. Like not just memorable because it showed your humility, it showed how humble you are, it showed how much of a Caribbean person you are, how much Caribbean blood runs through your veins. It showed the type of woman you are. It showed so much sportsmanship because here you were crediting someone saying, this person, when I saw this person and I spoke to them, they motivated me. And I felt that person was number one and I had to be number two. Right. And it was just honestly, like I immediately ripped the video and I had to share it on my timeline because everybody was sharing pictures and everything, but this resonated with me
Mhm.
so much as an islander, as a Caribbean woman, just hearing how you spoke and seeing the joy of knowing that, you know, two of you kind of did this together.
Yeah.
Like, yes, she was not on there with you, but you kind of did
Yeah.
this together. So I
Yeah.
kind of want you to take me through, your morning and
Mm.
all let us be there. We won't be in Glasgow with you right about now. Take us to Glasgow on that morning, waking up and knowing that you had to compete today.
Um, that morning I woke up and we competed at 10:18 in the morning, which means that we were all waking up around 6 o'clock to get ready for that. And it was very, very early. I remember thinking like, wow, they have us getting up so early. Are we gonna be good? And it was immediately, nope, you're gonna be fine. You're fine. All right, let's get up. Let's get ready. And in the back of my head, I'm thinking of the last thing I saw on TV last night, the night before, which was Julian Alfred crossing the finish line first in the women's 60. And that moment I saw that joy on her face, I cried. And I cried because I was not only happy for Julian, I was so proud for her too because I knew how proud St. Lucia was going to be, and I grew up jumping against Janelle Shepard, meeting with Laverne Spencer. Like I know they're athletes, and I knew how special that moment was for them, and it was both a moment of just admiration, but also like just needing that moment for Dominica too. I was like that. I need that. I need her that. Let's go get it. Fast forward the next morning. Normally I have a routine, I'm very strict with it. I have we call it our activation. And because we were so early, we ditched the activation. We did something different. Okay, fine. And before I'd be freaking out like, oh, I switched up my routine. Nope, you are ready. It's fine. Next. Normally I don't eat early in the morning because I eat after I lift. But I woke up starving. And I was like, we're going to eat. Well, are you sure? Nope, we're going to eat because we're hungry. You'll be fine. I got to the track. I was doing, my face. I did my liner, my pink
I
liner,
saw your pink, your I was like,
my liner. And then I went to my lip color and realized I left my lip color at home in Maryland, my competition lip color. I was like, oh my God, that's one part of my routine. My other mind, nope, you don't need it to jump far. You're fine. I'm sitting there watching everyone start to get ready, start to warm up because you're warming up next to everyone. All your competitors and you are warming up in the same area. And they kickstart the sound system in the facility, and all I start to hear is every little thing is gonna be all right. And I'm just sitting there, just don't worry. I'm like, all right, I got the hint. I got the hint. We're good. We're fine. Um, my knee had been bugging me a little bit for the last couple weeks, and I was a bit nervous that it wasn't trending as well as I wanted to. I just had to take 2 leave while I was warming up just to make sure I'd be pain free. But the downside with the leave is that sometimes it makes me feel a little sluggish. I'm not as fast as I want to be. So Aaron and I have this thing we do, which I call doubt dumping. It's a moment where right before competition, I tell him all my doubts. So I get it out of my system so it's not rolling around in my head during competition. And I love it. It works very well for me. And I remember telling him, I was like, I feel bouncy, but I don't feel as fast as I was a few minutes ago because I took the leave. And I was like, well, we normally don't do this, but can I do the banded activation right before I jump? Where I step into a looped band. It's big. And I kind of do like through 3 squats. And I always feel a little extra bouncy after that. He's like, all right, bet, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, cool. I don't normally do that at meets. I don't do that at meets. I was like, we're just going to do it. Fine. Because why? Because we'll be okay. We'll be okay. We'll still jump far. And then we walked out to compete. My name was called for Dominica. And I came out smiling. I gave you guys like a fierce walk for my intro.
Yeah.
Give you a little model-esque. And I went out there truly calm and eager to just do my thing. That was it, to do my thing. And that first jump, I got on the runway and I was like, let's just get a solid jump out there. We can do it. Aaron had told me, put something out first thing, like get out and give us a really far jump. He's like, just take them out their misery on the first jump. Take them out. That's what he always say, like, and I was like, okay, cool. And then the first jump occurred and I was like, it was okay. But I knew I had more in the tank. It's fine. Second jump, I get on the runway and I start like, okay, you can go after, get it. Like, you know what to do. And then, once again, that mind comes in. It's like, why are you doing all that? You know what to do. Just do it. And I remember the last thing I said to myself was, oh, okay, let's do it. And I jumped. And it was like that really like calm mentality is just something that I'm so happy has tapped in this year. And I hope it continues, and I'll work to continue it for the rest of the year. But yeah, it's different. It's different. And that was the second jump. And then the craziest thing is that, I didn't realize this was going to be the craziest part of the entire situation and has brought up the most controversy is that everyone freaked out that I didn't jump anymore. And I was so surprised by that. I did not know. All the news sources, all the coverage I saw, the Chinese coverage, the BBC news coverage, the USA and America's coverage, everyone's like, oh, is she injured? I was like, I was fine. I was like, I took that leave. I didn't even need it. My knee was great. I didn't feel anything all day. I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And 2 jumps is all it took. And I remember Aaron telling me, he was like, if I were you, I wouldn't jump again. And I was like, what? He was like, it's really good. It lights a little fire under everyone's butt, puts the pressure on them. And he was like, you can warm up towards the end if you have to defend. But he was like, I know the stats. And Aaron is by trade a data scientist. He was like, I know the stats. For someone to jump over 15 meters indoor, you're only 1 out of 3 people that have done it. So yeah, he's like, I don't think anyone here is going to do it. Anyone's going to catch it. And he was like, they might get close, but I don't think they're going to do it. And he was right, because Perez Hernandez jumped 1490 on jump 5. And I kind of looked at Aaron. I was like, that's getting kind of close. And he kind of looks back at me and he's like, relax. You're good. Don't worry about it. And so 2 jumps is all it took.
Ooh, we're really, yes, so good. This is such juicy information, guys. Yes, this is juicy. This is so juicy. You talk about medicated, taking that Advil. Yeah. And I know the world of the Olympics, we hear about doping, we hear about all of this, we hear about everything, and they're wondering, I mean, you did it on 2. You know, like they'll be like, she's taking something. What goes on after that? Because
after?
Yes, because I know you I want to talk about the celebratory part soon, how you felt, but I feel like I need to ask about, that, because it's almost like, how we call, like, you trying to blow my high in Dominica. Yeah. Like, you're just trying to blow my high and finding out that, hey, they may need to test you and all. Does that actually happen, or did that actually happen after your meet?
Um, for those of you who do not know, when you get to a certain level, you get put into the World Athletic Doping Agency system. It's called WADA, where you have to list your whereabouts. You have to provide an hour every single day where you will be able to be found to be drug tested. And there is no notification beforehand. They just roll up on you. And you have to, and they will stay with you until you're able to produce 90 milliliters of urine. That is what they do. That is their job. I have been drug tested last year alone over 16 times. That's like nothing. And after you compete at a major championship, normally they take at least the top three, at least. And so what happened directly after, and we'll get back to the celebration later,
Yes,
but
because
I
I do
was
want to know that.
brought through the first outer part of media. I did 3 interviews, and a lady, I guess, was assigned to me to kind of guide me through everything. And I was like, okay, cool. What's next? And she was like, oh, miss, you're going through media 2 now. I'm like, excuse me? So I spent about 20 to 30 minutes outside just doing those few interviews. And then I was brought underground where most people do not see. And I did another hour and 20 of interviews, just walking through and doing interviews. That's where the speech about Julian Alfred, about all of that was all done in Media 2 downstairs. I went through that, and I was then greeted with a table at the end of all those interviews, and they asked to see my shoes. Why is that? If you win a championships, they check your shoes. Shoes have to be legal. There are rules and parameters. You can't tamper with your shoes. Your spikes have to be legal. There are rules with this. So I took out my shoes. They checked my shoes. They took pictures of my shoes for cross-reference, put them on file, and returned my shoes. I put my shoes back in my bag. I looked up. There were two girls, 2 volunteers, ages 15 and 16. I was like, oh, hi, are you volunteering? They were like, yeah. And I could tell that there was something up, but they weren't telling me. And I kind of caught it. I was like, you guys are doping control, aren't you? And they're like, yeah, we're volunteering with doping control. I was like, you were sent to get me, weren't you? And they're like, yeah, we were sent to get you. And I was like, that's smart. They send like some sweet looking schoolgirls, so I can't get upset. I was like, that's so nice. Let's go. So I get whisked away, you know. Now we're at maybe an hour and a half since I've competed, whisked away. And now I'm chugging water because normally by the time I compete, I'm dehydrated. I'm chugging water and waiting to pee. So you have to fill up at least 90 milliliters. If you do not fill it up, you have to wait until you go again to give you a combined 90 milliliters. You are not allowed to leave until you are done. And so you just sit. I chugged about 5 bottles of water, walked around the place quite a bit, and then eventually I did pee. They got my urine. And they were happy that it happened relatively quickly because that meant I was the last one being tested. So that meant everyone got to go home because I was done. So I competed at 10:18. I took my second jump at around maybe 11 o'clock, but I only left the facility closer to 3 after
Wow.
everything. 2:33. I think I got on that 2:30 bus just about. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a lot of protocol that goes after that. There was also me getting some of my equipment back, like my lanyard, my accreditation, my phone, electronics. They take that away from you because you can't have it on the infield. I have to get that back, all that stuff. But that's just what it is. But it was cool that one of my first calls was actually from Brendan Williams at DAA.
Yes.
Aaron was waiting for me, and Brendan, he was on the phone with Brendan right between me leaving media and me going into drug testing because I'm not allowed to have my phone in drug testing either. So he was a quick call to say congrats and to let me know that certain calls would be coming through and who to reach out to. But yeah, that is the world after. It's not as glamorous. It's not as glamorous. Yeah, at the end of it, people are watching.
Jeez, it sounds like heart wrenching. But you mentioned Brandon. I want to big up Brandon.
Big up Brandon.
Brandon, thank you very much. For always coming through and making the connection.
that moment you heard your name,
Mhm.
how did that feel? What was like the faces you made? Listen, we have them all. Like we have the faces. Um, we have them. We have the
Ah,
faces. How? What? How did you feel the instant you learned that you had won the gold?
um, it was just pure joy. Like pure joy. Like I remember jumping and I had put so much force into the ground when I jumped up. I freaked out a little bit in the air because I was like, this is a lot higher than I intended to.
You're gonna
Um,
fall over.
yeah. I was like, this is a lot higher than I intended to jump. And it was just like a crazy juxtaposition because Perez Hernandez had just gotten like super disappointed because she had really wanted that indoor title, but so did all of us, right? And then
Like, hi.
it cut from her being disappointed straight to me midair jumping for joy, and I all I could think of was like, I get to fly our flag. Get me our flag. Get me our flag. And Aaron had it already prepped, hanging on the rail for me to pick up. And I just ran. I ran straight to him as fast as I could get without like falling on the track. And I just like I remember just looking at it and I was like, oh, how do I flip it? I was like, oh my God, I don't even know how to do this. Like,
I've
like,
done this before.
and I was like, is this right? I was like, I have to make sure the bird is not facing the wrong direction. I was like, if I'm
Or
gonna do
upside
this,
down.
if I'm gonna
God.
do this, I'm gonna do this right. You know what I mean? And I was just so elated. It was, and I thank God for the people, the grounds crew and the officials, because like, I don't know if you realize they were talking me through it. Like they came up to me and they were like, so are you not going to jump? And I was like, oh yeah, the competition's still going technically. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to jump. I was like, no, I'm not going to jump. And they're like, okay, stand here, Thea in the middle, Leanna's on the left, Anna on the right, like instructing us to do everything. And I'm like, thank God, because I'm just like, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. Like, that's all that's in my head is we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. And I remember going to Aaron, I was like, we did it. Oh my God, we did it. He would like grab my face. He was like, breathe. He was like, congratulations. It is so well deserved. I'm proud of you. And then he gave me the flag. And I was just like, I remember backing up and just being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, And after we took the first initial top 3 pictures, all I could think was, we're gonna show this flag off, and we're gonna get like this entire everybody in here gonna see this flag, okay?
They gonna
Everybody.
know.
And I took that lap, and I was just screaming the entire time, just like wow. And I ended up taking my lap like first, and so I just like was running, and the applause was amazing, tremendous. And halfway down the home stretch, I get pulled for the interview, my first interview. And I remember telling the people, I was like, I am the only one from my country here. So
Hello.
to come here and get the best possible outcome is amazing. And like, this is for my people. I was like, because I'm the only one here, I had to make sure that we looked good, and I did it in the best way possible. So this is for them, all of us from that little beautiful gem in the Caribbean. And like the applause like erupted. I'm telling you, the amount of people that stopped me and just said, "Oh my goodness, that was amazing," or "Oh my goodness, we were looking up Dominica. It's gorgeous." Like, and I'm like, this is what I want. This is what yes, I want you to open Google. Yes, search it up. Yes, learn about it. Yes, know that it's not Dominican Republic. Yes, learn about our culture. Someone was like, what is a is it they're like Cicero Pere? Am I saying that correctly? And I was like, yes, actually, it's our national word. We're having these conversations. It created so much dialogue just from that moment. And I was like, great, this is what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted.
Fantastic. Well done, Thea. Well
Thank you.
done. Let me go to the chat.
Good.
People are saying they're blushing, they're dropping the flags. So amazing. People are saying we're so proud of you. Congratulations.
Thank
The
you.
messages are coming so fast. I can't even call names.
Oh
Like
my goodness.
Jason and Nikita and Lola. Whoa, I'm shivering. I can feel her joy. And the message is gone. Valda is saying, whoa. Annika is saying, Thea, you're so genuine. It shows. Tracy,
Thank you.
oh my God, the message is gone. Tiffany is saying, thank you for creating the dialogue. We love you.
Oh,
Amazing.
I'm so sorry. Hold on one second. My system's about to die. I didn't realize it's not plugged in. Oh my goodness.
That's okay. We're reading. We're taking all of what is coming in. People are coming in. Oh my God, job well done, Ambassador Thea. Um, um, Folks are saying, "Oh my God, well done, congrats." I think people were just waiting for that moment. Thea, you're amazing. Melinda is saying, "Thank you, thank you very much for the stars." Adele, I appreciate you. 767 to the world. Folks are just coming in and they're really showing their support and they're showing their love. This is what we remember. This is what we saw when we all woke up that morning and we heard that Dominica had won gold and Thea Lafond was the one and had won gold for us. And we were so ecstatic. We were so happy to learn that had happened, and you really impressed every single one of us. You made us so proud. I listened to practically every interview I could catch on to. I listened to CBC. I listened to, because I wanted to hear what the Canadians were saying. I wanted to hear what the Americans were saying. I wanted to hear what the British were saying. I wanted to hear what everybody was saying. I wanted to be in everything, and I was just like loving every single interview, and you've made us extremely proud. People are saying chin up, well done.
Thank you.
Jael, I wanted to know if any other country official reached out, so she wants someone wants to know if anybody else has reached out to you from Dominica.
From Dominica, I think the most notable one was from our country, of course, was from our Prime Minister, Mr. Scarrett. That was pretty awesome. And I want to say that I also, Mr. Blackmore, there's so many of the delegates and head officials and positions in our country did reach out, which was very kind. I did see a lot of recognitions from our neighboring countries, like Barbados, St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, which was great. You know, I do appreciate all the support from our neighboring countries, especially in the OECS. You know, because there are certain countries, and so a lot of my good friends are from there. Like, for example, Grenada. You know, Anderson Peters, Karani James have become friends of mine over the years and have watched me, you know, fight, crawl, fall, and stand back up. And so to hear those words again, and to hear the words of thanks and to see the acknowledgement come in, it's like thank you, just thank you. I appreciate it. You know, that's all I can.
That is amazing. That is so amazing. I want to let you know before, I don't want to forget this because this is so important to me. I don't know if folks follow me. I did a photo shoot for my birthday with Fine Dress Dominica. And Fine Dress Dominica has decided whenever you're in Dominica, you have a complimentary shoot on them in your flying dress, in your Dominican flag flying dress. They're offering you a complimentary photo shoot, full spread, plastered, that you can take back with you whenever you decide to stop back off on the island. That's from Be Seen Flying Dress Dominica.
Thank you. So appreciate it.
So just letting you know. I also wanted to ask, I saw a few questions coming in and I wanted to make sure I pull those questions. Somebody wanted to ask, Mayma asked, what is your favorite Dominican food?
That's a tough one. Okay. Well, okay. Baked and saltfish will always have my heart. No, like that is just bread and butter. You know, that's it. But I do have a sweet tooth. And whenever anyone goes to Dominica and they come back, they bring back raisin slice for me, because I love it. And on the savory side, I love a nice crab back. Oh God. So I know you asked for one, and I just gave you three, but
you love it. Y'all heard she love a good crab back.
I love
yes. Yes. Oh my God. Folks are screaming and folks are still reeling in the comment section. They're just going off. Thea, what advice would you like to give to young Dominicans aspiring to be a successful athlete like yourself?
I think one would be, please remember that you are a student athlete. I do truly believe that it is important to maintain a healthy academic and athletics lifestyle. And if you guys are trying to go past, just the elementary steps of your athletic career, it's really important to be marketable and someone that is great in the classroom and in their field of sport expertise is a beautiful package to market. Um, Two is I always say that practice makes permanent. It does not make perfect. You can practice the wrong habits over and over again, and all you're doing is becoming excellent at a bad habit, which is not a good thing. And three, I please say, I really, really say, please be brave. Do something outside of your comfort zone, even if you don't think you're that good at it. Even if you think you look silly. Everyone looks silly at first. No one just goes out and is amazing at everything. You know, just try, and that there are people set up, whether it be Brendan Williams, whether it be Billy Doctrove, in positions that are there to help you grow and flourish within your sport, and to please utilize that. We're ready to help. We want to help. We want to see you be the next great you. Um, and I want to see that too. I want this to be the stepping stone. I did it. You guys can do it too. And you also have me as a resource if you want to do that also. So
And I think it's important to find out. You mentioned, you providing yourself as a resource, but what is, I'm sure you've spoken about a lot of people. Who
mhm.
was some who would you say were some of the mentors or fellow athletes that has really they've actually had a really significant impact on your career?
Hmm. There are a few. I think for first would be Jerome Romaine. Um, and I remember speaking to Jerome when I was still in college. He actually was considering coming to coach at Maryland at a point, and he loved the idea of him being Dominican, coming to work with me being a Dominican. And he ended up not taking the offer. But I remember talking to him about, his experience and how prideful he was in being able to produce a medal for Dominica. And I remember feeling like, oh, I want that. I want that, Um, I think another person would be my friend's father. His name's Jack Pierce. He's a Olympic medalist in the 110 hurdles for USA. And he was one of the people that gave me a good sit down and honest talk about what it takes to be excellent in what I do. And it was talking to him that made me realize that I needed to find a new coach after 2016. And I think that was like a major change to everything I was doing at the time. And I also think the next athlete would honestly be Brendan. Brendan and I, we go back since I was 16, 17, when he was still in, high jumping and in his career, and when he was, in his own way advocating for athletes from Dominica and from the OACS and from the Caribbean. And he has honestly become big brother to me and has always tried his best to produce just good things, create good things for the athlete. Um, and with him and Billy Doctor backing me, so many amazing opportunities have come my way. And I'm really excited for the future of sports in Dominica.
Hmm. When are you next in Dominica? Everybody's dying.
I
Everybody's dying to know. People want to know when they can get a meet and greet. People want to know when we need to plan the motorcade. Like they want to know, girl.
um you know what? That's a really good question, and we need to figure that out.
Like stay
Um,
tuned.
yeah, honestly, truly, truly stay tuned. There was a part of me that was like, oh, part of me was like, I should have just flown straight to Dominica. I shouldn't have come back home. And honestly, I was thinking about it. I was like, I should have just come straight
You
home.
know there will be a
Um,
motorcade waiting for you. I mean a motorcade
um,
from Melville Airport all the way to Roseau.
I should have come straight home. That was definitely a thought. Um, and I do need to figure that out. I do have some, training is still going on starting next week. Um, but I do want to be on island, and I know that it's going to be tough because we're going into Olympic training, right? So like it's going to a different level of focus of definitely, and I need to be around places where I can train. And unfortunately, Dominica doesn't yet have the facilities. I say yet because they're coming, and I know they're coming. So I say yet. Um, um, to have the facilities where I can actually stay and train for a while, which is something I would really, really love to do. So it's probably looking most for a long-term visit would probably happen closer to Independence after the season is done. That's the long-term visit. For a short pop-in for a few days, hopefully sometime soon I need to figure that out. But yeah, I do. That's the one of like my big regrets was not just flying straight to the island, just changing that ticket and just spending the week there because honestly, that's where I really want to be right now.
Oh, that's so
Really,
sweet.
yeah.
That's really nice here. What are some of you mentioned, the Olympics. So what are some of your future goals, both short term and long term, for Thea? What are some of those for you?
Short term are more jumps over 15. Long term is a podium finish for Dominica at the Olympics. Yeah.
Yes. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be there with you, girl. We're gonna be there with you.
Thank you.
Some of us might fly out. We might actually fly out. Fly out. I remember being offered to work with CBC to do the last Olympics that was during the pandemic.
Oh, Tokyo.
And yes, and I was like, Dominica's not gonna be there. Like, what am I going for? Like, what am I going for? I had done a sports media course, and they figured, they could. I did
Yeah.
the class. Although I'm not crazy about sports, I just ended up being top of the class because I did all my research, right? Because
Nice.
that's what sports is. Sports is research,
It
right?
is research, yes.
So it would be lovely for us to come and support you at the next Olympics, at the next game. So it's not just you alone in the stands, but you probably, and us we love. We might bring a lapo cab with, we might bring a conch shell, we might
Hey.
bring, we might bring a couple of things they might be wondering, but what are these things? Are these weapons of mass destruction?
Right.
Right?
You might scare security, but you'll be there loud and proud.
We will
Yes.
be there loud and proud. We're so proud of you, Thea.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much for putting Dominica on a different level. We're so very appreciative of that. I want to just go through the chat one last time before I'm bigging up Brandon. Somebody says, are you coming to Toronto for Carnival? Would love to meet you. People want to see you everywhere. You're well deserved. Someone say, focus on your training, my dear. Stay focused. Someone else is saying, come down for Jazz and Creole. That's in May.
Ooh,
And someone is saying, PM, make something happen. There's a make something happen. So they say, PM, make something happen. They're telling the prime minister to make something happen and bring Thea down. Other folks are saying, where is it? Imagine yourself getting it again. Best wish to you, my dear. Congratulations, Sylvie saying best of wishes to you, dear. Sherry is saying thank you for representing Dominica. So much love in the chat. People, we're so very proud of you. Thea, you did well. You did beyond well. You went out there and you really represented your country, your homeland, the place of your birth. We were very proud to see the flag represented, at your win, and I just want to from me and from everyone, I just want to congratulate you one last time and tell you I know you're gonna do amazing things. You're so determined. I mean, and we look forward to seeing you at the Olympics, seeing you at all the other games that you will be competing at, and we just want to really wish you well.
Thank you so much. I think that the amount
Let us,
of love.
let us see the medal. Let us see the medal. Let us see the medal. Did we lose you? I think we might have. Oh, here we go. There we go. There we go.
Oh, sorry.
We lost
Oh,
you for a
weird.
second.
Hold on, I got it. Hold on.
Look at that bling. Ooh, pretty closer. Look at that. Do like the those influencers when they
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
cover. Look at that.
And the back is
And your
engraved.
name is on there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Triple jump. 15.01 meters. Girl,
Yes.
you did the thing. You did the thing. You did it. You
Yeah.
did it. You did it. You did it. Congratulations to
Thank
you.
you. And thank you. Like I said, I always say this, and I sound like a broken record, but I will never stop saying it. It is an honor and a privilege to represent our country on this large stage. I do not take it for granted. I do not take it lightly. I take it very seriously. I see it as my job. And I am so grateful for all the love. I can feel it like palpating through the air from Dominicans around the world. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Woo! Guys, Thea Lafond, gold medalists in the building. Thank you very much for taking the time out. Oh my God, this was a wonderful interview. We appreciate you. Until next time. Guys, this was wonderful. This was wonderful. This was wonderful. Thea did her thing. And we're so happy that she could join us here on the show this evening. I want to say special thank you very much to the sponsors, those who made this possible. Without you, Digicel, thank you very much. Astafans, thank you very much. I want to say big up to Crazy Carrot, Be Seen Flying Dress. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the love. Truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you to you, every single one of you who showed up here this evening and you shared the live and you tagged someone and you sent some love and you commented. Thank you very much for being here, because you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be right here with me and Thea, the lovely Thea, representing Dominica through and through, and we're so absolutely proud of her. Thank you again for tuning in. You got to stay locked in. If you haven't followed yet, follow. If you haven't subscribed yet, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, because we got more exciting shows every single week. Listen, I've literally scheduled at least 15 people for the next couple of weeks. So you got to stay tuned, because we got some more amazing Dominicans, more amazing people. We're going to be stopping by. I want to shout out the folks on YouTube, Marsha White. Thank you, Sophie, for real. Thank you, Devi. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, those of you on LinkedIn, those of you on Twitter. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. And thank you very much for all of the love and all of the support. Truly appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week. But you got to find out soon, pretty soon. You got to stay locked on to see who we'll have coming up next. All right, guys. Until next time, I'm saying bye-bye. And we'll talk soon. See you right here.
Empty your cup. Get to the last drop. Get to the last drop. Drop, drop. Empty your cup. Get to the last drop. Get to the last drop. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. You get it once, you're gonna get it twice. Now when you in the tongue, you got that smoothie on your mind. I see you smile, your taste buds satisfied. You wonder how Crazy Carrot got all that vibe. It's healthy and it's fresh. You and I both know that it's the best. So come on down to Crazy Carrot today. We'll have a fresh movie coming your way. Empty your cup. Get to the last drop. Get to the last drop. Drop, drop. Empty your cup. Get to the last drop. Get to the last drop. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot. That's the mood when you get your smoothie from Crazy Carrot.
I love the Kalinago territory, I love the Kalinago people, and I really embrace my culture.
How the hell do we expect to survive as a communal society in a capitalist system?
We need to teach that history that have not been taught.
Have you heard? It's Match Madness with Digicel. Sign up for an internet-only plan today and only pay $95. That's 30% discount on us. That's what you call it, Match Madness. Plus, get a chance to win vouchers, cash, hampers, Express the Deal tickets, and a PS5. That is some serious madness. Sign up today for an internet-only plan and be better together, only with Digicel.
Let's talk about frame fitments. Now, this is a frame that is too small. These frame temples are sticking out. If you look, they are sticking out to the side, resting way too tightly on the temple. This rubbing will cause your hair to fall out eventually and leave imprints on the skin. This frame is also too short. If you notice, the curvature here is not falling on the top of the ear, causing the frame to tilt forward, giving a very nerdy look. You don't want that. Have you ever experienced your frames falling forward? This could mean your frames are too big. If you see here, there's too much space in between the frame temple and my temple, causing it to slide forward, as you can see here. This frame is too long. You can see the curvature is way behind the actual ear. This means it is not going to hook behind the ear, causing it to slide forward when you look down. A proper fitting frame is when the curvature lands directly on the top of the ear, giving a nice hook behind the ear itself. That way it doesn't slide forward. And also that you have just about 1 millimeter space between the frame temple and your temple, so it doesn't have any rubbing that can rub off the hair and leave any marks. Now, we also want your eyes to be as centered as possible with the lens. That way you don't have any quirky looks of it being too big or too small.